Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody, to the world of Corridor Digital Podcast. This is episode 183. We're coming to you from the Corridor Digital Studio in Los Angeles, California, and my little dinky studio here in Texas.
Your grand
Thanks
library.
for being here.
Where were the other drugs going?
Guys, what's up?
What's up?
Wow.
What's up?
What's going on? Thanks for joining us.
What's amazing?
Wow.
What's amazing?
Just everything.
Yeah.
We got Playdough. We got friends.
We do have some
we got
Play-Doh.
time on our hands, and we're alive, everybody.
Yo, can you
What a
PD
joy.
That's right. Thanks for
want
joining
some
us
PD,
here
baby?
on the CorridorCast. I've got Jallen, Dean, Nick, and myself here today. And the Play-Doh is back for
It's
anyone
back.
who
Playdough's back.
And
wondering.
it is flowing. It is
It's
circulating.
Ooh, it's
We all
We're rich in
knew
Play-Doh.
Yo,
Without
PD.
the Play-Doh, there have been some real problems, but it's back. So
Gone forever.
don't worry, guys.
Yep. Soon the homies will be back too. We've bulk ordered homies. They're on their way. Yeah, man. We're gonna have it all.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, we,
Yeah, we're gonna have them all.
You did?
only the wheelchair
Okay.
ones though.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we want. Dude, for your birthday, I'm just gonna get you like 10 wheelchair homies.
You.
Heck yeah, dude.
When I was trying to come up with the title of that video, I got deep into a homie's rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And-
Did you order
I was
any
just
for an investment?
No, I didn't.
We
I
need
did- I
homies,
was-
man.
I was too foolish to put my investment dollars into homies, unfortunately.
Jake,
Big
Jake,
mistake.
Jake.
But yeah, I did go down a few Google rabbit holes where I was just, it was all coming back to me.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing, truly.
Yeah.
Dean was not there for that, unfortunately, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
have no idea.
Or
what
for
you guys are
homies
talking
in
about.
general.
I think, yeah, you
were
missed that
dead
boat.
back then.
You were dead back then. You were pre-alive.
Yeah,
alive.
Pre-alive.
Dean probably wasn't even born yet.
He's on pre-order.
What year is this?
He was on pre-order.
No, you were probably alive. You probably just didn't want homies at that age.
What are homies?
This would have been.
There's-
See, I didn't want to
homies.
ask the question because I feel like this has been.
This would have been like
thoroughly-
90, 98, 99.
Okay, I'm 97, so I was alive.
yeah, you were alive. You
Okay.
just missed it.
You
Yeah.
were.
You needed a quarter. You were a
baby.
poor baby.
Yeah,
you
babies have
needed a
money.
quarter.
Come
But Dean is here, and honestly, Dean has been fuming about something in particular for a
Oh,
long
yeah.
time.
Well, yeah, for a very long time.
Very long time.
months
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I don't even know when this movie came out.
brewing
yeah.
for months.
But it's come up again because you watched it and you guys talked about it on
Yeah.
VFX Artists React, and it is
Oh.
The
Dude.
Flash.
No, Ren, Sam, and I, we did a react recently, and I was bringing the Flash. I was bringing a couple scenes, and as I was watching the film, I just kept adding scenes to the list, going, "Oh, and we got to talk about this. Oh my gosh, and this and this."
Yeah.
And eventually, we just pivoted and made a whole episode about
Yeah.
the Flash.
All within the bad category.
That's how you know it's bad.
Yeah,
Bad and
it's-
great.
It's a funny mixed bag because Dean came. I think you saw the premiere, didn't you?
No, so I went and saw the movie by myself. Just very sad afterwards, feeling very empty. And I came back to the studio the next day, and I think I told you the entire plot of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
which any other movie it would have totally left my brain.
Yeah.
But this was a special one because as
Could
you
you
guys know, I'm a
please spoil
huge
the
DC
plot?
Comics fan. And
Were you looking
Yeah.
forward to the Flash in
oh,
particular?
dude, I was looking forward to it. By the way, Tom Cruise and a bunch of celebrities were coming out and they're like, "This is one of the best movies ever."
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, Tom Cruise was like, "This is gonna save theaters."
Oh,
Did he produce it or
those who don't
something?
know-
I don't know. They must have paid him or something. I don't know why he said that.
For those who don't know, Dean is a wealth of knowledge about comics, but even more particularly DC comics. You know,
yeah,
a
I
lot
spent,
Yeah.
I spent
about
way
the
too much
DC
time
universe.
on it growing up. I kind of regret. I could have been building other skills.
dude, you could have spent more time with homies.
And with the
Yeah.
You
homies.
wasted your
Honestly,
youth,
homies
man.
or comics.
The dangers of a
Come on.
homieless youth.
So
Yeah,
this
right
wasn't
here.
just, this wasn't just a casual guy getting a ticket on a Thursday because he doesn't have anything better to do. Dean was genuinely looking forward to this event.
Yeah, dude. I picked the wrong train. You know,
So
when I was a child and it was leaving the station, they're like Marvel, DC. I was like, oh man, I love Batman. I love Superman. I hopped on. It was good for a while. We had Christopher Nolan. And
Right.
then it just really started to go downhill. And the Flash felt like, the rock bottom. Like the train came
yeah.
off the rails completely.
So you saw Justice League though? Like, were you on the Ezra train already? Were you
So
like
Justice
hanging on? Like, I
League-
think this will,
The
Separate the
theatrical-
art and the artist.
Yeah.
The theatrical Justice League was is objectively a terrible movie, but I had Phantom Menace syndrome walking out of it, where I was turning to people, I was like, that was great, right? That was awesome.
Phantom Menace syndrome.
And then I went and saw it a second
Just wanted
time,
it to be great.
and that was about the third time I saw it that I was like, this is a terrible
Wait,
movie.
but do you feel that way about the director's cut as well?
No, the director's cut is pretty good.
Okay.
It's like a really solid movie, but the theatrical cut is awful. And actually, particularly because it cuts out so much of the good character moments that are in the director's cut, because they're trying to get it down to length. And so it mostly becomes about the plot, which is super generic, even in the director's cut. But yeah, there's just a lot of weird additions to it. But anyway, this isn't about Justice League. This is about the Flash.
I'm gonna say though, I don't really take to superhero movies too much. Like, every once in a while they'll get to me, but Justice League was good, and particularly I liked the Flash sequence. Like, I liked that. Like,
which did you watch the Zack Snyder?
Yeah,
one?
yeah. Sorry, I'm talking about the Snyder cut.
Which
when
is
I say
weird,
the good part, but I liked what they did with it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool
the
to see
rescue?
that. The rescue with the
Through the glass with the little so sick.
And then you see the quality of the VFX too. And then I don't really follow Ezra Miller drama, so I separated him. I had no premonitions about that.
When they shot that movie and when that movie was released, there was nothing. Ezra Miller hadn't done anything crazy yet. I think there was one video of him like choke slamming a girl, but
nothing crazy.
He hadn't done anything crazy yet, except the one video of him choke slamming.
But it was out of nowhere, and then it kind of went away. It was like, oh, that was really weird.
Interesting.
That was really weird. Oh, what a weird thing to do. Okay, anyway.
Anyway, Flash.
But no, I agree. The Zack Snyder Justice League I really enjoyed, and in particular, I liked Ezra Miller in that movie because he's kind of the comic relief, and because everything Zack Snyder keeps it very like
serious,
dim and serious, and he was kind of the one bolt of light in that, and I was excited for the Flash. And I'd seen interviews with him, and it seemed like he really understood what is interesting about the character, which is like, he's kind of like a physics, like science character. Like, he runs fast, but when you actually go into what that suggests for a character, it's like he can vibrate at, these speeds to like move his molecules through things. He can travel through time.
Such a sick power, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a really cool
Like,
power.
let me just vibrate.
Yeah.
So wait, so he can travel through time?
Yes. Yeah. And he can travel through universes.
I mean, we're all
as well.
traveling through time, but we don't get to choose the way.
He can choose the direction.
Travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
and not specifically, but also he can travel through universes, which, is probably the most depressing part about this film, and we'll get to that. But
yeah,
I feel like
Did they do any of that? Sorry.
Wait for it. Because
okay.
Let me continue to set up.
Yeah.
Flash
please.
is like, as a character, his place in the Justice League and in the DC universe, he's kind of like Spider-Man a little bit. He's like a little more relatable than like Batman or Superman. He's just like a guy working his job, and then he becomes a superhero. And so yeah, I was excited for this movie because of everything that was built up. And then I sat down to watch it, and Jordan, you can follow along with me as well because you've seen it too. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie with some babies.
I mean, we're talking the beginning. Like, this is the opening scene.
Really
this is
started
the
with that
tone
one?
setter. This is the tone setter.
Wow.
Yeah,
for sure.
and Jordan and I were talking about this. It's the tone they're going for is a bit of like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Which is really an odd choice for like a
Interesting.
emotionally, driven superhero movie. But they were going for like wacky Looney Tunes.
But I don't know how many people knew that, because when I sat down to watch it, I had no inkling or indication that it was going to be Looney Tunes. But as I was watching it, I was just like, oh, this is super goofy, silly. And I didn't expect that, because tonally, what I've seen from DC in the past, and I'm not like, I don't go and watch all the movies, but what I've seen is a very serious, somber tone, and they take it more seriously than Marvel does. But this was like completely an inversion in approach.
It was
which
almost
took me off guard.
It made like Marvel movies look more like serious.
The serious ones.
Because it was like the opening scene felt like a bad Saturday morning cartoon where, so for you guys, you haven't seen it, there's a sequence where Barry is like, there's a hospital that's collapsing, and he looks up, and on the top floor, they show there's a room full of like 20 babies, and the building starts tipping over, and the babies come careening out of the building through the windows, and now these babies are showering down, and he has to run up the building and then save them in slow motion.
Which was a great line, objectively, as a pun enthusiast, to go, it's a baby shower.
Fudge off, dude.
No, they did not.
They did. It was a baby shower, Jake. Come on.
Oh, I had pushed that out.
Come on. I'm keeping that with me. That scar is staying with me.
That's painful.
But immediately, like, that scene starts, and you know, you guys will talk about it on React. The effects are objectively terrible,
dude.
And
really,
the director came out and was like, he basically just said, like, we were shooting for that. Like, it was supposed to feel weird.
Yeah, the effects. So there's a lot of effects that look cool, just to be honest about it. But the problem is where your eye is drawn, the things that pull you as a viewer, all of those things are the things that are flawed. And like, of course, the most major thing is people, right? It's very, very difficult.
So
we just did this
all
with
the things you're supposed to look at are bad.
yeah. Because all the
Which is the
destructive
effect.
elements, like the vibe is sick and it's great destruction work. But your eye isn't drawn to the destruction, it's drawn to the falling babies. And the falling babies, you know, they're far from perfect. And since that's what you're looking at, you're immediately no longer feeling any sort of sense of danger or care for these babies or the solution.
They're CG Gumby guys.
Yeah, they're sons
These
of the
babies,
mask.
literally, they probably have about 16 vertices on that mesh of each baby. I kid you not, dude. You can see basically the sharp corners on the frickin' swaddle. What's it called? The cloth you wrap around a baby or whatever.
Swaddle.
Swaddle.
So like, and they're all swaddled for like, obviously because the VFX artist just didn't have enough frickin' machine power to like render out a flailing baby. So they just swaddle them in some like low poly mesh cloth and just chuck them out a window.
I think
it shows.
It all comes down to time.
It
with
always
this movie because the amount of craziness surrounding this film. So
the director you mentioned, he's how many directors has it gone through?
Oh, it's gone
4.
God,
okay.
yeah, it's gone through so many directors. Like this movie's been in production or development for like 15 years.
It was first announced, I believe, in 2014. Was it or 2018 was the initial release date that they wanted to aim for.
And I think it was supposed to be Rick Famuyiwa who did Dope, which is a great movie.
That's a great movie, yeah.
But he dropped out due to creative differences.
With who? With the producers?
With DC.
Yeah.
And he's doing Star Wars stuff now. So he
read the baby scene. He's like, nope, I'm good.
So it went through a bunch of directors after that. I can't really remember them all, but it ended up with Andy Muschietti, who did the It movies,
which I loved. I loved the It movies.
But also and it works for a horror movie, but like the tone is very similar. Where it's
the
like
Looney Tunes, man.
It's a little bit self-aware and like it's like it's a little bit of self-parody. It's a little bit of winking at the audience and going like, this is dumb, you know. And like you watch It too, and there's like a little bit of that from like Bill Hader's character. And so with this movie jumping right in to the first scene, having it be these like it's like the director went, what is the dumbest thing a superhero could do? It's like, oh, he's not just going to save a baby. He's going to save like 20 babies and they're all falling out of a building. And as the scene was going, I was like, oh, they don't care. They don't like, this is like a joke to them. And I'm sitting there with my popcorn. I like deeply love these characters. And I'm just sitting there like, oh man, they don't care at all. And then so that set the tone for the rest of the movie.
And you're sitting there alone, having just spent $40 to be there total.
Yeah.
Going, wow, they already have your money, and now they're just taunting you.
Yeah, they're like, hey, idiot. That's like what it feels like. And then after that, they go straight to a chase sequence, or it's like intercut with a chase sequence with Ben Affleck's Batman, which Ben Affleck, you know, God rest his
soul.
God rest his creative soul.
I feel so bad for him because he signed up for this first movie, Batman v Superman, which was like a really dark take on Batman, very intense take on Batman. I think that's why he agreed to it. But he probably signed like a long-term contract for these movies. And the tone has changed so much that he's in this movie in the full like blue Batman costume. It's broad daylight. And he's doing like the hands on hips, like, hey kid, you know, good job saving the day. Like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this poor guy. And the suit looks so, I mean, dude, I could go so, like the suit looks so bad. And then they have Gal Gadot show up again to like deliver some wooden lines.
Is it a CG suit?
Everything's pretty much CG. There's like one close up, and we've talked about this.
Yes.
And again, going back to Batman v Superman, they have this like very intricately designed cowl, which is a different like design aesthetic from the other Batman movies. And it's like very sculpted and carved, but it looks great at night. But when they bring him out in broad daylight, you can just see the latex and like how it's pinching his face. And like Ben Affleck just looks like he's shoved into this mask, and he's just like, hey, Barry.
They're like, get the mask squeezer. Yeah. Come on, all right, we're about to roll.
They got some acne friggin' face shovers going.
They got some
PA vacuum form it.
Squeezing his face.
And sorry, Ben. I know you haven't been in a real suit for a while.
I think that's the only shot of Ben Affleck in the movie. There are scenes that Ben Affleck is just Bruce Wayne in, but like him in the Batman costume, that's got to be the only shot of him that's actually him, because all the other shots are like him on a motorcycle or behind him, and they probably just had a stunt man.
Well, James Gunn is on record here as he's isn't he like the CEO of DC?
He's the head of DC Studios now.
Yeah. So I was reading an interview from him, and he was saying he wants all of these to have a different tonality. Like, you know, you have the really gritty series, you have the super jokey, wacky, and obviously like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he nails it. He does really good. But yeah, this was so goofy and out of left field that it shocked me.
Yeah.
It totally
don't
shocked
you
me.
want to keep it consistent with what people might understand and expect from previous iterations of the series?
Problem is that they came out of the gate with Man of Steel. Man of Steel's kind of its own thing, but right after that, the money for Man of Steel wasn't quite what they were expecting, and they immediately started taking what Zack Snyder wanted to do with these movies, which was to do a kind of his own thing, like a dark, twisted take on these characters that would kind of end up with them as the heroes, you know, but to kind of go through that whole arc. But they immediately started course correcting, and then Batman v Superman got terrible reviews. And that's why the theatrical cut of Justice League happened, is because they were like, make it funny like Marvel, but it's kind of smashed together with Zack Snyder's aesthetic, which is just such an uncanny thing.
Well, I mean, if you want a way to kill any creative project, it's open the kitchen doors and introduce hundreds of cooks who have probably never cooked anything before, you know, or at least not creatively. And it's like all these notes, the fact that you go through 4 directors, you go through like 3 or 4 iterations of the script, you push the date 3 or 4 times. It's like, it must have just been absolute chaos in the kitchen of all these conflicting thoughts and people wanting to have their stamp left on it. You know, that was my idea, all this stuff. And then the director's just trying to shield an original creative vision and keep track of it through the course of a feature. It's a nightmare.
I guess I shouldn't blame him.
After the first director, though, walks off the project, after that, it's just about how do we not burn more money?
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine being hired as the 4th director, and you're like, oh, my job is literally just to keep this thing somewhat on the rails, and make sure that these 8 CG babies got composited in. So you have a day.
Imagine how much money they burned through in the however many years of production, and then Ezra Miller has a complete mental breakdown. I don't think they were even. They might have been fully. They weren't done production when Ezra Miller had their like complete, you know, throwing chairs at people, kidnapping people. It was
I don't know what he did, but that sounds about right.
All I heard is he was throwing chairs at people, and he was leaving guns out all over the place where that kids could basically touch.
There was a bag of guns. He's just leaving them out.
There was a compound at one point, which tells you something, and the fact that Ezra is brought out onto the red carpet for this movie is just so telling of how much money was put into it, because there was a point where people were like, "You're going to cancel this movie, right?"
Yeah.
This is
Alleged
insane.
kidnapping, by the way.
Alleged.
Confirmed.
Alleged kidnapping.
Alleged.
Right.
Kidnapping. It's a blanket term, you know.
Yeah, it could be lots of things.
But
The kid was napping. What was I supposed to
What
do?
was he doing?
so yeah, there's just it's really, I mean, this movie and Justice League are two of the most interesting stories of like a film's production in history, like the history of cinema. Because like Justice League, you have, you know, Zack Snyder, his family lost their daughter and he had to drop it out of production, and then they put Joss Whedon on it. This movie, you have years of production, and then Ezra Miller loses his mind. And it turned out in a piece of crap.
Well, I'll say
And-
this. I will say this. Dean came back and just roasted it to pieces when I first heard about it. And obviously in preparation for this, I wanted to watch the whole thing and have the context of it. And I will say it was better than I expected. I laughed a few times.
Yeah.
I was smiling a little bit. Like I had a good time. Some of the visual effects were really good.
Yeah.
Some of them were very noticeable and bad. But overall, it was a better experience than I expected going in. That said, I have no like affinity or like, you know, connection
Yeah.
to these characters.
I had some friends who were like, "Oh, it was fine." I think the thing about it for me is not that it's like a terrible story. It's just a completely generic, serviceable story that is only like the plot points only exist to get another character in from like,
Oh.
oh, here he is.
Which, of course, is summed up perfectly.
I think before we get to the freaking cameos, which they're not even
cameos.
Oh,
cameos,
so
dude.
Jake,
bad.
it was awful.
No.
But let me
No.
just to get you up to speed, they send him back in time. The whole movie, the craziest part about the movie is that it's not just one Ezra Miller, it's two Ezra Millers. He's meeting himself from another universe, and the whole movie is two Ezra Millers on screen.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Wait,
committed.
another universe. So you're saying they
Yeah,
brought
can
in
you-
a
can you-
multiverse
Yeah,
factor?
so the idea is that the Flash realizes
yeah.
that he can move through time by running really fast, you know, going faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, he breaks
And
through.
so you know, his kind of core trauma, like Batman, is that he had a parent die when he was young. It was his mom, and she was murdered. They don't know why. So he's going back in time to try to, you know, stop her from being killed. And it's the butterfly effect. He goes back and changes one thing to make sure that doesn't happen. And he comes back to the present and he realizes the future has changed, but they make it so he's actually in a new branching timeline.
Yeah.
That is a different multiverse or universe.
Instead of like just the future branching off and changing,
Yeah.
by changing one thing, you've shifted the past and the future. So new people are different people now.
Yeah, which is it totally
Which-
makes
So
sense.
now
Yeah.
we can do anything
now-
in our movies.
So
Yeah,
now
why
Bruce
not?
Yeah.
Wayne. So now Bruce Wayne, instead of
Back
being
to the Future set the canon for all time
Oh,
travel
gosh.
movies.
No, but it's it's kind of worse than Back to the Future because
I know,
they
but
like.
I'm saying if you don't follow the Back to the Future logic,
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you have to.
Then-
You have to. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. And in this case,
right?
it doesn't make any sense because it's just an excuse for them to go like,
Mhm.
Michael Keaton's here now.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Just
Michael Keaton is here now.
and it's so like transparently
Michael Keaton
so.
is Batman.
Yeah, it's Michael Keaton's
They have
Batman
him
from
playing
the
Batman
89.
again.
It's from the
They
89
even went
Batman.
further back, Jake. They even went further
No.
back.
What did they?
Christopher Reeve? Didn't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
that's
yeah,
later, son. That's later.
Okay.
But so
Man.
Keaton is it's his character from the 89 Batman. So it's not just like he's in this as Batman. It's the character from those two movies. And they find him. He's like
So
an
it's
old
Bruce
guy.
Wayne
Yes.
from the '89 Batman,
Has replaced Ben Affleck.
but now this Bruce Wayne from
Is
the 89
older as
Batman
well.
Is older because they didn't want to do visual effects on Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and they could have totally done that.
But it's
which
a
I'm
universe
realizing.
where he was old all the time.
Yeah,
so,
it's a
yeah, fuck
universe
you.
where
yeah,
he
fuck
was-
you, man. Yeah.
He was like Ben
It's
Affleck's age
multiverse.
like 20 years ago, which makes, and he looks like a different human being, which makes no
Don't question
sense.
it. It's a multiverse. Flash
dude.
runs
It's
really
multi-
fast now. Okay.
It's multiverse.
To
man.
take
went
a
so
slight
fast.
divergence, a nerdy divergence into the comics. This is based on a
The
comic book called
laziest
Flashpoint,
crap.
which is a very classic comic book. And interestingly, the Flashpoint comic was also meant as a way to reboot DC Comics. just in the same way that this movie's meant to reboot the DC cinematic universe.
Dude, that's the thing. You're saying this like it's a merit, like it's meant to reboot this, and it's like that's a corporate business decision.
No, that's what I mean.
That they are shoving down our throat as art consumers and saying, "Don't you guys care about this? We're gonna reboot this universe." It's like, so you're just coming out in the open. You're saying you want to mine our wallets for the next 10 years with this crap.
But so like in the comics, the reason they have to do that is because there's like 75 years of these characters and their interactions with each other. And sometimes they just have to go, guys, we need to allow new people to be able to read these comic books. We're starting over. Batman sense. Just became Batman. Superman just became Superman. So they have to like hit a reset. And so they hit that every like 20 years or something.
And then every 100, they do a multiverse and bring it all together for a big party, and then they reset.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's crazy how the DC movies managed to reach the same level of convolutedness in like 5 years. Just by the movies being poorly directed and like guided. But so in the comics, Barry goes back in time, and instead of it being just a random dude that he's never met, it's Bruce Wayne's father is now Batman, and his mom and Bruce Wayne's mom is now the Joker because Bruce Wayne died as a kid.
Bruce Wayne's mom is the Joker?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
No, it's actually it's rad.
I think it's kind of cool.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
So now we're playing house
Batman
with other superheroes.
Batman and Joker
what
are
is
brothers.
This, Dean?
Wait, what?
They're like evil brothers.
What do you
They're
mean
like-
they're evil brothers?
They're the opposite.
That's
of
a
each
fan
other.
theory, right? Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But it's no.
That's
so
not just a fan theory. Isn't that actually in canon?
Are they actually brothers?
No, they're not brothers. What are you talking about?
Are you sure?
I heard a strong theory though.
Two brothers.
There's
Well, you keep going with this. I'm gonna look this up.
there's
Jake,
comics,
it's a multiverse. In one multiverse,
but that's
they're
what I'm
brothers.
saying.
That's
is
your
that
truth.
This
That's
is
your
the
truth.
convoluted thing. Is in comics,
No.
everything has happened in comics. Everybody's died at least 3 times.
Gotcha.
You know, X, Y, and Z. But so in the comics, all I'm trying to say with the Flashpoint comic is that it's people that Barry knows. So like Wonder Woman and Aquaman are now at war, like the Atlanteans and the Amazonians are at war. So there's a whole war happening on Earth. Like there's all this crazy stuff happening. And in the movie, it's just, hey, here's Michael Keaton and Zod's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, you
I
remember
missed him.
Zod?
I
Zod
missed
back.
Zod.
You
What the
remember Zod?
Yeah. I
There's
remember-
some
wait, what?
suggestion, guys,
does
that
ring a
Batman and
bell.
Joker are brothers, but it's never been
By
never
Jake
been,
Watson
like-
on the
No,
CorridorCast.
Conspiracy.
He's down the rabbit hole.
Editing the
No,
Wikipedia
in
Got his
Joker.
tinfoil bat cowl on.
Have you seen Joker? The dark one with Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, in the Joaquin
Oh,
Phoenix movie.
shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
They suggest that.
But
They're
that's just
half
that
brothers.
movie. I don't remember
yeah,
that
but
ever
isn't
being a
that
thing in the
isn't that
comics.
part of the?
Multiverse, man.
Yeah, it's a multiverse. Everything's possible. There is definitely a universe where Joker and
like
Batman
this.
are brothers.
Yeah, I kind of like this multiverse. I could just say whatever I
Yeah.
want.
Batman is a brother with his foot.
Yeah,
That's his
Dude,
brother.
that was one of my favorite
And-
branches
and
of the
his
multiverse.
other foot
Yeah.
is Flash.
Dude, sick. I
Yeah.
want to watch that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm
Multiverse.
just saying it don't make no goddamn sense to
I
have
agree with you,
Joker
Jake.
be played
I
by
agree.
Batman's mom. What the hell's going on
No,
here?
she's not played by Batman's mom. Like his mom became the Joker.
It's same thing. Okay.
right,
Batman is Batman. Is Bruce Wayne is Batman. Okay. His
But
mom
this is
is
a
not the
different-
Joker.
It's a
And his
universe.
dad
Sorry.
is not Batman.
Are you
No,
a
I
DC
shouldn't have
writer,
brought
Jake? I
Don't
think
touch
so.
Jake's Batman.
Jake, you can have your Batman, okay? It's
No,
the same
don't you
Batman.
start saying my truth. Don't get into the my truth thing.
My truth.
I will absolutely lose it
This
if
is
you get into
Jake's
the my
truth.
truth thing. Okay, just truth. Truth by its very definition is not
No.
subjective to the individual.
No, I'm
Anyways,
sorry, Jake.
But
No,
the
this is
writers are
multiverse.
doing it. All the writers are saying,
I'm
but it's
sorry.
my truth.
No,
There's a multiverse.
Look, Dean's
No
truth
such
is
thing
that
as my
Batman's
truth.
mom is the Joker. Okay, that's Dean's truth. We have to
No,
respect
but
Dean's
the point in the story in the comics is that by Barry saving his mom, he ruins or he changes all these things, and now Batman's world is upside down. You know, and Bruce is dead,
right,
and his dad's
Right, I
alive.
get it. But
Anyway, so you know what?
Yeah.
I shouldn't spend this much time taking you into all the details
I'm
of the movie.
entertained.
Point is, things go terribly. Barry is like I shouldn't have done this. Nothing I do can help, because that's a really empowering superhero story. Is that
why did I even try in the first place?
So, dude,
a superhero.
Dude,
why did I even try?
Michael Keaton Batman dies. This new Supergirl character dies. And Barry's like, shit, I guess I couldn't help. And he leaves this universe. He's like,
Classic.
shit.
Whoops.
And then the other Barry
leaves it in tatters.
just leaves it in absolute tatters. And the Barry who's from that universe is like, no, dude, you can't do this. Like, my entire planet's gonna die. And he's like, it's just shit happens, man. That's like his. That's
So
what
even the characters know that the stakes have been lowered by this.
Yeah.
Even the characters are self-aware.
And I get the point they're trying to make. It's like the point they're trying to make is like, he shouldn't try to go back and change the past, because that trauma defined him and made him a superhero. And the kind of way they hone in that point is that this Barry, the other Barry from the other world, is like, no, I'm going to fix this. And he keeps going in this infinite loop where he's like, he keeps coming back, and he's got like more shards in him from being in this battle, and he like can't fix it, but he's like, no, one more time. And then a third Ezra Miller. So there's 3 Ezra Millers in this movie now. He comes back, or he enters the picture, and he's like 1,000 years old.
Wait, dude, are the babies all Ezra Millers?
No,
Is he 1,000 years old?
I think they
Dude,
might be.
they're all Jokers, man.
He saved all the other Flashes in the universe.
and
Why
put
did
them all
he-
right there.
Why did he also not age?
He did. That was old Flash.
Yeah, he's like really old, but he says he's been doing this for like eons.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
basically
wow.
he's the older version of this other Flash who's been trying to fix it
Mhm.
for 2 minutes on screen. So it's really
Mhm.
not that impactful. And then he comes and he's like, I figured it out. I have to kill you or something dumb. And then,
Okay.
That was in the script. Just
Yeah,
something dumb. That was
something
like a
dumb.
filler. I don't know.
and then
I have to
they-
kill you. ... Something dumb.
Something dumb.
they kill him or something.
Exterior.
It doesn't
day.
matter.
The writer looks at that. He's like,
Exterior day.
"Okay,
Something
we'll
dumb.
keep her."
So I forgot to mention
8 babies. Something dumb.
I forgot to mention the universe, or like the way they present time travel is
Yeah.
like, like a zoetrope, like the kind of revolving zoetrope kind of thing is like, that's how they present time travel, is all of Barry's memories are like a zoetrope around him. And he's in this little
Conceptually very cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
visually not very well executed, because it's weird, uncanny CG
Well,
people.
Jake, this is the biggest issue. Like,
Oh, they
I guess
actually try to visualize that.
Yeah, he's
and-
running on a basically a treadmill
surely
in the middle
That
of
can
that.
be done these days. Like, that seems like one of the like more down to earth VFX.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. It was like visually very complex, and it was like the Flash at the center of the zoetrope, and they had all the different characters and all the different possibilities like being visualized, and there was a CG camera kind of floating through it and showing you, Henry Cavill, Superman, and all these other people. But the problem is they didn't use any photography of these actors.
Yeah.
They
Did
made
they just leave the
digidoubles.
mustache on
They no.
this time.
They used digidoubles, but the problem is, again, it's like they're playing so close with the camera to these characters that we know so well. You have to hit that high mark that we expect. Otherwise, it falls into Uncanny Valley. And it's not just that it like barely didn't make it out of Uncanny Valley. It was deep in the trenches.
Oh.
Like Sam kept making the joke that it's like Polar Express. You look at it and you go, what is that?
No,
Is
exactly.
that supposed to be Henry Cavill?
And so the biggest insult, you're talking about characters we know and love, right?
Mm.
So this sphere of his zoetrope, you see other spheres appearing. And I was like, at this point, I was like depressed.
This is when
And-
the multiverses are colliding.
And there was
Everything's falling to pieces.
The only cameo at this point has been Michael Keaton's Batman, and then Michael Shannon as General Zod from the Man of Steel movie. But they're like characters in the film, so that's cool, right? That's like, it's storytelling. These spheres enter, and I'm like, shit, they're about to do Everybody's Here,
Oh.
And so I'm thinking, at that point, I get maybe a little bit of lift, because I'm like, well, who's gonna,
Who's here?
Who's
gonna
gonna
be
show
here?
up?
Bus is
Get
pulling
ready,
in.
Jake.
No.
The first guy to
all
show
your
up.
favorite heroes.
No, guys.
give me a
And I
guess.
thought Wonder Woman was bad, where she like travels back in time 6 different freaking times with Chris Pine, and you're like, guys, just
Oh,
give me
yeah.
just be straight with this. Like, it's like I don't
Yes.
understand why this movie needs to be 45 minutes of just them traveling to different places.
Well,
Please no.
Well, but this is all,
we'll
Jake.
talk
This
about
is
Gal
all. This
Gadot
is all your
later.
favorite characters. You know.
Well, Dean, real
Such
quick,
classics,
real quick,
yeah.
if I can just cut in here, because I think, like, again, I'm not a big superhero movie guy, but I remember going to Endgame, and when the characters appear,
Oh,
it
it's the
was
same
earned.
thing.
It was earned, and people got excited, and they were cheering in the theater.
Yes.
I remember I was there. It was super exciting. It's like, oh, he's here. Oh, he's here. They have a purpose. They're coming to aid. There's a reason
to
they're
save
there.
the day.
And we felt like we earned it because we watched all the movies leading up to it. It was spectacular. It felt like over at DC headquarters, they're like, how do we do this?
Well, because in the story, like literally in the script,
They're sitting there with the binoculars.
It's like, how do we get that
looking
reaction?
across
Oh.
Burbank?
Yeah. And
How
they
do we
forgot
do
about the earning it part. And they're like, oh, just show them other people.
so, but yeah, that's the problem. Is like it happens.
Google it.
It happens at the same point in the story as Endgame, right? So it's like we're at the very bottom of the like the cards are down. Like this is bad. But the difference here is that this is like these characters are coming at us. They are a threat because they're crashing into our universe and like they're like gonna destroy our universe by crashing into us. And so it's like get away. Whereas the heroes showing up in Avengers, it's like they're here to save the day. These characters are like, no, go away.
We don't want you here.
So, but you
I
think
just got here. It doesn't matter. You got to get out of here now.
Hey, remember me? So shut up. Go.
So-
Say, I was an old so shut the fuck up.
But you'd think the least they could do for all of my pain in watching this like diarrhea of a movie is to show me like, here's Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if you have diarrhea, you hope there's gonna be some chunks that are solid, you know? Like you hope there's gonna be something there to hold on to.
America's worst metaphor.
So, but like I'm
I'm trying here,
Crapping your
man.
guts out.
yeah, like maybe there's something that smells
You
a
hope there's
little
at
bit
least
good
a
in there.
window.
Just
and
something that's
to
gonna
hold
leave
on
a
to.
splash and not a
And
not
the nearest
a
person
miss.
is at least 25, 30 feet away.
But
Yeah.
like at least so and also it's a Flash movie. So there's a Flash TV show that's been on for like 10 years. Show me that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I liked that show for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But so instead, Jake, we get, wait for it, the 1940s George Reeves Superman shows up.
I know you're waiting for that one.
I know you were
Yeah.
waiting, dude.
But
I know
he-
you've been
yeah.
Christopher Reeves.
No. George Reeves.
Wait, what?
Wait.
Is played
Wait, I'm
Superman
Googling this. What?
in the 40s serials.
way.
Is that his brother?
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it's
it's the
just
guy-
totally separate.
But they just used someone from the crew, I think, as the scan.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
As the scan
look
for
up
it.
George Reeves.
No, I
God.
just did.
Oh my
There's no
God.
imagery of him that has color.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how-
it's black and white.
Yeah.
This fucking planet or whatever shows up, and it's a black and white guy. Like, and it's not a guy; it's a CG model.
This guy looks like he just rolled off the boat from World War II.
Did this
They just
Superman
slapped a
also
costume
commit
on him.
These were
suicide by
produced
gunshot?
during the war.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I know,
sure.
bro. Like this guy's straight out of Germany.
Oh, I was mixing it up with the other black and white guy.
Oh, so there is, and that guy's not even a movie character. I'm pretty sure that's the original Flash from the comics. I'm spacing on his name for some reason.
So we
But-
see.
Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick in the comics is the original Flash.
But they scanned some guy from the crew,
Yeah, just some.
I
dude.
think, to be that guy.
Is that true? Or you
Yeah, I think I read that. I read that before the react. I think it was just some guy.
Wait, that's even worse. It's
I-
just some guy.
I think.
I didn't even know that.
I mean, dude, there's like 4 guys who look like this just down the street.
They're like, hey, we gotta get it. We got a guy in here. We need a body. Hey, just come over here.
How
Are
did
you
it break-
fucking kidding me?
How to break Dean's spirit even more.
didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
know
that cameo
that.
was actually just some guy.
It's
It's
just some guy.
fucking guy.
Yeah.
Get ready, here he comes.
It's some guy.
We grabbed a random guy on the crew and tossed
They
him in
probably
there.
did, bro.
Okay, they had Black Panther. Okay, they had who can we have? Who can we have?
who can
some
we-
guy.
oh, there's
Hey,
some
Jeff.
guy.
Hey Jeff, come over here, man.
Hey, you want
You're
me
gonna be
replaced?
our big
Put
reveal.
on this tin can hat, dude.
1940 Superman and some guy.
Yeah, you remember
Some
that guy?
Fucking guy.
trying to bring back all the. Can you imagine if they bring back Captain America and it's just some guy?
We had some guy in the crew.
In the credits, it's just some guy.
I can imagine it, actually. I can. Yes.
No, because the thing is that character, because they're trying to say that, like, in the George Reeves Superman universe, there's also a Flash, and he's the original Flash, Jay Garrick.
No.
And Jay Garrick in the comics has a very iconic look. He's got like this tin can helmet on.
Yeah, it's that old school.
But so there was, I don't think there was ever a show with that character. So they're just like, it doesn't matter. It's just a guy.
He's running. He was also in the
he's another
Cyclorama or the
Flash.
Zootopia, whatever it's called.
Did you say Zootopia?
Whatever
I'm
it's
sure
called.
they were thinking that one was going to get a real Comic-Con buzz. wasn't
So-
it?
No, it's like the
But-
World War One Flash.
Mhm.
But it like
Talk about
so
flashback.
George
that
Reeves
for-
comes out and it's just
Civil War Flash.
like the character doesn't even, he barely moves. Like the cape moves and he's just standing there. And then they're like, all right, on to the next one.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, you're like, okay, you enjoy him. Wait
And
till
then
you see
this
who's
next
next.
planet comes. And all right, you were right, Jake. It's the other Reeves. It's Christopher
You know?
Reeves Superman. But Christopher Reeves is dead. So it's a CG
Tragically.
model.
Very uncanny.
Super
very
uncanny.
uncanny.
And then, dude, just for the cherry on top, you remember the 1977 or whatever Supergirl movie?
Yeah.
No? Yeah, no.
No.
One else does. And she walks up next to him.
How was that in the theater? Did everyone clap?
Was it
Dude.
silent?
Yeah, no, people are like, who the fuck are these people?
Just one guy's like, yeah.
One guy's like,
They did it!
so he's like, who's that?
You
Who's
missed
that?
also, but you did miss a good cameo when it flew by Batman. Do you remember Batman?
Oh, did they have the Adam West?
They had the Adam West Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't doing anything. He was just there.
Yeah.
Just
let me get
Oh, with the
this
bomb.
straight.
It's
Let me
like
paint
clips
a
from the
picture.
show, dude. They have like clips from the show, and it's like, there he is. You remember this one? And then they keep moving on.
So there's literally, so let me just paint a picture. There's a moment at the end of the film where Flash has to confront all these different versions of himself, and he's running so hard through these like possible universes he
No.
starts to encounter.
He's standing. He's just
He's
standing. There.
standing.
He's standing there.
Oh, yeah.
Look.
Don't even get me started on his little like run in place thing.
Yeah,
that they have
thing.
him doing. That
But
just-
but
oh,
it's supposed
so
to be
funny.
this like moment
yeah.
of like
It's like they've ruined. It's whatever. They've ruined the timeline or something, and all the
Right.
universes are crashing together.
Yeah, and visually imagine that if you're the Flash, you're at the center of this big sphere, and there's like the roof got ripped off basically, and you're looking outside of the roof, and there's other big spheres with these other characters in them.
Just standing.
Just
like
standing, looking back through the
Essentially, it
crack.
turns it all into a big snow globe. Like it's
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
this universe one snow globe, this
Which it's
other
like,
one
it
another
doesn't-
snow
it
globe,
also
different color.
It doesn't make any sense because where is Superman standing that he's seeing this
Yeah.
happen?
He's on a
Because
roof.
it's like Christopher Reeves is on the edge of this roof, like looking out.
He's just waving.
But it's like, okay, Flash is in like, and also it doesn't make any sense because is Flash like actively vibrating through time while he's
Mhm.
standing there? Like, is he actively in this place or did he end up in this? Like, how does it end? Anyway, what it doesn't, nothing matters anymore.
No.
yeah, but that wasn't the biggest reveal of all.
Okay, so
it keeps
So-
going.
yeah,
There's the
we're
best one of
We're
all.
getting to the mountaintop. There's two more. This one is it really broke me. It really broke me
Aw,
because
buddy.
at the very least, these other characters, they're from films. They're from media that you've watched and enjoyed the stories. So, like, you know, when you watch Spider-Man No Way Home, when Peter Parker from the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker, when he shows up, there's, you know, he has his own arc in that film, I guess. But the main thing is you're like, oh my God, it's the character I love from this
Yep.
thing that I enjoyed. The same is true of these characters. Now we go to this next character, and you see a giant spider shooting lasers out of its mouth or something.
This was the biggest reveal of the entire
Yeah.
section.
It was like they were almost being like, "Fuck Christopher Reeves."
yeah. Everyone
This
else before,
guy is you've been waiting for this
Yeah.
guy.
you've earned this.
So and then you see another Superman with long hair, long beautiful flowing hair.
Yeah.
He lasers the spider and kills it. And then the light shifts over him and he turns around. and it's Nicolas Cage Superman.
What?
So Jake, you might be wondering.
Those words are next
You might
to
be
each other?
wondering. I don't remember a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage. It's because it was never made. It's because Tim Burton was going to make a Superman movie, and Nicolas Cage was going to be Superman in that movie because Nicolas Cage is like a massive Superman fan. But the movie got canceled like really early in production. Like nothing was filmed. There was like one screen test picture, which is has become like a meme. Like that picture of Nicolas Cage as Superman has kind of become a meme. And so not only is this not a character from this film, like he doesn't have his own internal story in this film. It's not even a character from other media.
This isn't a joke.
It's a character.
It's a meme.
It's a character from
You're being serious right now.
No, and it's so like
this is the member berry. This is the rotten dried member berry you find under the counter on the floor, and you're like, oh, I remember that from like 8 years ago when I made freaking member berry smoothie, and it dropped down.
When I read that article on IGN about how Nicolas Cage was almost Superman, like
and Jake, and the worst part maybe
that's like their pinnacle moment of choice.
That's the big reveal.
But Jake,
oh god,
it wasn't even him. It was a digital Nicolas Cage that was so deep in the uncanny valley, they didn't even give you the real guy.
It didn't even look like that Nick Cage. It didn't even really look like Nick Cage.
I feel like I'm having a bad drug trip right now.
Yes,
I did too. How do you think I felt watching this movie, dude?
Can you imagine if I go back in time, if I pull a flash and I pull Dean aside and I go, you're going to spend 2 hours leading up to a reveal of Polar Express Nicolas Cage Superman. Do you still want to go inside?
Well, and dude, so there's a moment when I saw Batman v Superman in the theaters. There's a moment in Batman v Superman where Ezra Miller as the Flash appears from like running back in time. He appears to Bruce Wayne and he's like, you have to save him. Like Lois is the key. And like, you're like, oh my God. I was literally hyperventilating because that was the first movie where they had DC characters together on screen. Where like Superman was with Batman and all that stuff. So that movie was like, that was really my Phantom Menace, I guess, at the end of the day. Cause I was like, I leaned over to my friend. I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. And the moment with Flash, I was like, the possibilities, right? All of these storylines where like Flash comes back from the future and, you know, you're going to have different versions of these characters. My imagination was running, you know? And like you said,
and
if only I could have gone to that dean and been like, don't listen to him. don't have hope.
Pick
Because that's I mean, really the theme of this movie. The theme of this movie at the end of the day is like, don't have hope for anything.
Yeah.
Nothing can change.
The beautiful irony of that,
Yeah.
right? It's like, if I could just go back and give you the message of the film, then when you went in to go see it, it wouldn't hurt as bad. You can't change the past.
So that, Jake, that's the big reveal is Nicolas Cage Superman. And then, so Barry comes back to the present. We got one more reveal for you. He comes back to the present and he let his mom die. So great success for the hero is he let his mother die.
Yeah. Good job.
But he at least helped his dad get out of being framed for a murder. So because the court case was like a framing device at the beginning of the movie. So he got his dad out of jail, you know, and so he's walking out of the courthouse and he gets a call from Bruce Wayne. And already I'm like, who's it going to be? I was thinking like, because the thing is, Michael Keaton Batman dies in this movie. And like,
so it can't be him.
But first of all, you're like,
and
okay,
it can't be Ben
multiverse.
Affleck because apparently Ben Affleck's dad is actually Batman.
But, you know, you could, like, maybe it is Michael Keaton Batman. And then it would kind of help bring home that point of like, no, Barry actually was Barry was able to change the future, right? He can't change the past, but he can change the future. So he could have like, you know, Michael Keaton could be alive in this new timeline or something. So I'm like, oh, cool. Michael Keaton's going to be here. And then they could do, I don't know, they could do like a Batman Beyond movie where Michael Keaton's the old, I'm starting to have hope again, which is stupid. It's stupid for Dean to have hope again with these DC movies. And then the car rolls up. It's like, oh, Bruce Wayne's here. All the press runs up, which is, first of all, like, why would Bruce Wayne be at this random court case in a different city? That's super suspicious. And who gets out of the car, Jake? Dude, you're probably going to tell me like freaking
Betty White, dude.
Yeah,
Betty
Was it
White
Beetlejuice?
as Joker is like
No.
literally, that's where I'm at.
No, it's a Batman we know and love. It's everybody's favorite Batman.
Dracula.
It's
Christian
George
Bale.
Clooney.
Oh,
It's George Clooney's Batman, dude.
I remember him.
It's everybody's favorite Batman, right?
Is
I
that
loved
everyone's
him.
favorite Batman, dude?
What do you mean?
I
Are
love
you
George
saying this
Clooney.
is the most?
Christian
Hated
Bale is
Batman
everyone's favorite
movie?
Batman.
It was like the final nail in the coffin for the fans of like, oh, you had any hope left?
And the thing is, like, they're not
What
gonna do
about
anything.
this?
And dude, Barry Allen, our superhero, this character made for children. When Bruce Wayne is driving up and George Clooney walks out, he says, "Who the fuck is that?" And then the movie ends.
What?
That's the end of the movie.
What?
He says, "Who the fuck is that?" That's the end.
Oh
of
my
the movie.
gosh, dude.
Why?
For
What a-
comedic effect.
Just a
Did
vulgar
they write
use.
this with
let's just throw in
ChatGPT
this.
2?
It won't even be an artistic use of a vulgar word. We're just gonna throw it in there.
Yeah.
No, because you get one fuck.
They saved
in,
it for the end.
in like a movie, and you get to have
Even
like,
that is self-referential. Like,
Ugh.
I bet they were counting on people knowing that fact.
Yeah.
It's so cringy. It's like this. They're writing the movies for the Comic-Con panels, you know? Like,
Yeah.
literally, it's not for an audience.
No,
You
It-
don't
it's for these
actually get-
announcements.
that whole you get
Like-
one F word thing is actually not true.
oh, it's not.
No, you get it's the way that the MPAA does it is just by it's like a review of
Oh, the
basically
entire.
The context.
parents and people who sign up to do that, and they say, okay, this is gonna be. We feel like this is gonna be a PG-13 film.
Maybe it's
based
an
on
old wives'
gut.
tale, but I have seen a lot of superhero movies have made use of this. I don't know if anybody. I don't want to spoil it, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3, one of the best PG-13 F-bomb drops I've ever seen.
Really?
It's
It's
very good.
so fucking funny. And then there's also a really funny one in X-Men First Class. You remember that one with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender? They walk into a bar. They're like putting together a team, and they find Wolverine, and he's just like, "Fuck off," and they leave. And that's the only part with Wolverine in the movie. So that's super funny. But then, yeah, to have the final beat of the movie to be Flash, just basically being like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Yeah.
That's like a perfect metaphor for the movie.
Yeah. It felt like of all the movies that I've watched, all the superhero movies that I've watched, it felt the most corporately driven.
Yeah.
It felt like very, very transparently a reset of the universe and like this idea of fan service, like you're feeding birds. Like you just, there's some bird seed in the bag. Just throw it on the ground. They'll eat
That's
it.
what, dude. That's what I
They,
said.
they
to you.
think
I
we're
felt,
dumb birds, dude.
Kind of.
I felt like I was
literally do.
sitting there. I love this thing. And they're just like, here's your slop, piggy. You know, eat it up.
Oh, you like Christopher Reeve?
They're just like tossing that at me.
Yeah.
And
I'm
the whole
like,
time they're showing
"Oh."
you pictures of like filet mignon. They're like, this is what it could. Here you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
They're just
Here
showing.
you
I mean,
go.
that's the movie. Is they're like showing you pictures of things that you like.
Yeah. You want some Nicolas Cage?
There's no
You want
substance in
some
these
guy?
films. And like the thing is, y'all are guilty for it because you guys told them they could do that and they'd make money. So
Well,
I hope
no,
that
they didn't.
But
you're so disappointed and they stop making
sorry,
these
But
movies.
it's like show me
actually-
real quick. Like show me a character from the comics. Don't show me an actor who almost played a character. Like
That's what we told them is
the most
cool though.
absurd
That's what
thing
people
I've ever heard.
They have learned that is what gets people to go into theaters. It's not about the story. It's not about
Yeah.
the character even.
Yeah.
It's about the fucking actor.
And
who's
again,
playing them.
these reveals, Jake, I can't stress this enough. The orb fractured. He looked out and saw them, and then fixed the problem, and it shut again.
And
They
there's-
did nothing.
there's
They
no
said
interaction.
nothing.
There's
They
no
interacted not even a little bit. They did nothing at all other than be revealed and then be put
Yeah,
away
be
again.
revealed, don't emote.
That was it. An emotionless
Make
reveal.
sure you don't have them emote
Yeah.
at all.
It was almost like they pulled down from the top shelf. They're like, "Remember this toy? Okay," and then put it back away again. They're like, "I didn't even remember that toy."
Okay. That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. Okay.
That's a
Nick,
perfect
to your point-
analogy.
to your
Oh
point,
my
I'm sure
God.
there's a bunch of fans who are sitting there like, oh whoa, That's
There
cool.
was
One
Be
guy
better,
was like
everyone,
looking
be
around to his
better.
friends. He's like,
Demand better.
Because
all
no,
right?
there was where it all fell apart was with Thanos in the first Avengers movie, because Thanos popped up in the post-credit scene. It's not part of the movie. It's like a little bonus thing for people who stayed through the credits, and everybody went, "Oh, I wonder who that is," you know. But the real fans were like, "Oh my God, it's Thanos! They're gonna do the Infinity
Yeah.
Saga," and so everybody went home. They went on Wikipedia. They saw the articles that came out from, like, you know, all the nerd outlets, and they're like, "Oh, okay, it was Thanos. Oh, that's cool. That's cool."
It was like a
And then-
grassroots like lore drop kind of.
Yeah,
like, Yo,
and
guys,
it
we're just
actually
gonna-
paid off.
Yeah.
10 years later, he's the main villain of the movie,
and now everybody knows his name. Oh yeah,
and he's it's a great character, and that's like
it is.
the best example of it. But after that, they started to go, "Oh, you can just show them. You don't even have to do all that work of like
They
writing
don't even
interesting
need to be
characters."
casted as the character.
Yeah,
You
you don't
can
need-
just be
we
a
could just
guy.
have a CG guy pop up. And
Like,
even the Marvel movies
some
are
guy.
Yeah.
even the Marvel movies are really guilty of this at this point, because the Easter egg, it's like the Easter egg industrial complex where it's like these movies, they know that so
Yes.
much of the press that comes out about them is going to be like, who showed up?
completely.
Mhm.
You know, who did you miss? You know,
Yeah.
in the 2-hour movie when there was a 1-second shot of a guy in a bar,
Mhm.
you know, and so there's been a ton of Marvel movies since where they're like, they'll name drop a character, or, you know, a character will pop up and then be gone, and people are like, oh, you'll hear like some nerd over in the corner be like, oh my God, and then you'll be like, oh, I gotta look that up later, and then it's this whole like insular thing that drives these movies. And this is like
This is the
not
epitome
only
of
is this
that.
movie like the apotheosis of like the multiverse thing, but it's also this thing of like, movies don't have to be movies anymore. They're like
No,
their own.
they're just cash cows, and you just, hey, this director doesn't work. Fuck your vision. I got my own vision.
Yeah.
It's Christopher Reeves from and his dad
Oh.
too, or
Hey,
whatever.
his dad.
or whoever the fuck. But like,
I can't
no, dude,
believe
there,
that
there
they
is no
literally
vision.
put a character in from a movie that got canned at the beginning of production.
Yeah, just for it, just because.
Yeah.
Honestly, they probably had a list of characters, and they did a survey, and they're like, which one
Probably.
is going to get the most articles written?
Mm.
Because like, if
So it's
for me
just
as a actual
directing
fan of
by-
the stuff,
Directing by
committee.
Google Trends.
if
Yes.
they showed, say they showed like in the comic books, there's like a bunch of versions of the Flash. There's Wally West, and like I grew up with Wally West in the comics and in the animated series. Like, let's say Wally West is in one of these things, I at least go like, oh, that's cool. They have like a love and admiration for the source material, and maybe but like people who watch the movie aren't going to be like, oh, they'll be like, oh, what was that? But if it's Nicolas Cage, people know that actor. And now it's all, yeah, like Nick's saying, it's
Yeah,
all
but that's
about
just confusing.
the actors now, which is so, I mean, it's so ugly
Yeah.
because it's like it's like these animated movies where the cast is entirely, famous actors now.
Yeah.
Where they have the whole press tour is these people who worked on this movie for maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
And you have this animation crew of all these insanely talented people who are like, they're driving the performances that are,
They make the suits. None
Yeah.
of the suits are even fucking real anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's all VFX artists doing that work.
and
Everything.
it's just this, a movie can no longer now I sound like an old man, but used to be, you walk into the theater
Welcome.
and you're closed off from the rest of the world, and you're having a unique, isolated experience that is like speaking to some human thing, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like you walk into the theater and it's like you're scrolling through TikTok. It's like,
Mm.
here's another thing that's referencing all the other things that, oh, you didn't see WandaVision or whatever. Oh, that's Marvel. But like, you didn't see the show, or the
Right.
you didn't see the spin-off. You didn't read the spin-off novel.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Yeah.
quite
You
get
didn't
this part.
see Supergirl from 1977?
Here's my
Yeah.
fan theory, Dean. Now that both Marvel and DC have multiverses, I think it's
Yeah.
like 10 years before we see a crossover. Not even. Give it 2 before they start dipping into each other's little superhero inkwells. Oh, give me one of your
I
Supermans.
think they're actually starting to see the fatigue
Yeah.
I hope so, bro.
I
hope
think
so.
what it is that the streaming services are all not working as well as they thought. Like Bob Iger came out and said, he's like, we really screwed up with all these Marvel shows.
Yeah, man.
And
it's too
so,
much.
It's so great though.
It diluted the
I
brand.
hope we correct. I really
Gosh,
hope we correct.
we
on
need to.
this.
It honestly is. And I said this on the couch too. Is it feels like where games are at too with the pre-order situations.
Yeah.
Where everybody pre-orders a game that's kind of like a known IP, and then you get this buggy disaster. And it's like until people stop voting with their money in that direction, there won't be any sort of course correction.
Which has happened.
Has
because
happened.
DC's last like 4 movies have been massive bombs.
Well, this one especially.
yeah.
This one lost almost $200 million.
Which it already did bad for a normal superhero movie, but you tack on all the extra shit. Like that ending with George Clooney, they shot that 4 times with 4 different sets of actors. One of them had Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot. One of them, it was probably Michael Keaton and the Supergirl actress. And then this is the one they ended on. But they had to
just
pay.
know that before they shot it.
Yeah.
Look at this though. The Flash made just $268.5 million against a reported $200 million production
That's how
budget
much-
and $150 million advertising budget.
That was its entire box office was $268 million.
Dude, yes.
You say that like it's a small amount of money.
But they lost
I know.
almost $200 million. Negative almost $200 million. That is a wake-up call.
They should have just stopped after the first director walked off. They should have been,
Man.
maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, the
Imagine
rewrite thing
that.
always scares me away personally, but it is nice because I do hope there is some sort of course correction. It doesn't affect me directly too because I don't really vote in those movies' direction anyway until they're like free to watch, basically.
It does affect you though
but-
because it takes resources from other things that could be entertaining you, dude.
That's valid.
And that could be employing artists to actually like work on things that can enrich the world rather than just steal your money
And
over and
that's-
over and over.
Yeah.
And
like,
go ahead.
I like the worst part for me is that DC has done such a terrible job with these characters over the past basically 10 years at this point that there's really almost, unless they just don't make a DC movie for another 10 years, there's really no recovering. Like Batman has had incredible movies. The last Batman movie was like probably one of the best, if not the best. And that character will continue on. But the rest of this cast of characters, including Superman, have been
So forgettable.
Yeah, it's just like there are there's so many comic books that talk about like All-Star Superman or even like the original Flashpoint comic, like that been deeply meaningful to me. And to see these characters like trotted out with like 75 years of history with so many adoring fans to just be like, here you go. Here's our 4th director made this movie with 0 heart. And I don't blame the people who worked on it.
No.
They probably did their best with the situation, but it's just the counterpoint with a very similar story is the new Spiderverse, because it's also a multiverse film. It's also like the main character has to adjust to these new circumstances. And like that movie is doing a similar thing, but it's a pure work of art. It's one of the best movies that's been made in the last, couple of years. And that's the hopeful thing for me, is that like there's still some people treating these characters with like the reverence I think they deserve. But this was,
I think to do that, you need to have someone with a vision involved though.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I see like a lack of when I go and see like a Marvel or a DC movie that doesn't work. It's because of lack of vision.
Yeah.
And relying on those fan service moments. And like the fan service should be making a damn good movie about these characters that the fans love.
Yeah.
Not just sticking in Easter eggs. And like, I do respect DC actually for that reason. Like, I think James Gunn's movie that he's made have been really good. Like,
They've been great.
I've been like, dang, these Guardians movies, that's like one of my favorite superhero franchises. From someone who normally hates that stuff.
and on the DC side, he did the
Suicide Squad was awesome.
Dude, yes.
which
I
was
loved
a
it.
great movie.
His flavor, but like it's because of him and like and his team and everyone he works with and steers and like even motivates probably just in being him to like do really good stuff,
Dude.
and it comes through.
Well,
Yes.
and also with him, it's like he is really smart in that he chooses the lesser known characters so that he has a lot of creative control. Because the thing is, now he's doing a Superman movie, and I'm actually really interested to see what he does. But like when he was first starting out in this scene, he chose the Guardians of the Galaxy because it
Dude.
was like,
Yeah, I remember
I
thinking,
can
who
do-
the heck is
he's
that?
like, I can do anything with
Yeah.
these characters, and I can make them.
Yeah.
I can have a take.
And now a raccoon is having a more emotional payoff on me than the
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah.
Which is true.
The Flash.
Well, look, I'll say this: like before I worked at Corridor, I actually edited one feature film.
Okay.
A buddy of mine directed it, and he asked me if I would edit it, and I was like,
Nice.
"Dude, of course." It's been on my bucket list the whole time.
Yeah.
Watching a director from start to finish in the editorial process try to maintain a consistent vision for a piece through all the changes and troubles that arise put me personally off directing any sort of feature in the future. I don't personally have that vision. A lot of incredible directors do, but that was sans any sort of producer reaching in. And I know that all of these things are such giant ships that when you bring a director in and they do have a cohesive vision, like James Gunn is a great example, to see something through on a bigger film like Flash or Superman or whatever, all those other voices that slowly just pick it apart. They kill your joke here, or they kill the arc here, or they panic here. Or it's their money, their choice. They get to do whatever they want to do. They all take a bite and just completely ruin the meal that you're preparing before you serve it. And then it's your name on the line. And of course, we always come back to it, the visual effects artists on the line, because they're the last step in the process. And that's why with this whole thing, everyone going, the VFX suck, the VFX suck. It's like, yes, visually not great in a lot of areas. I still hold absolutely no blame for the visual effects because I know with as big of a mess as it was through pre all the way through post, they were probably way overworked, deep into OT, unpaid, overloaded. And there's like, you have a week to do this thing that takes a month. Okay, just get it done. Just get it done. Go, go, go. Okay, give it to the people. Here's your slot.
Yeah, it always starts at the baby scene. Like the idea to do that.
Like
It's like you can't really do that unless it's all like in an animated film. You can do that, but you can't do that in like a cinematic film.
Make it look good. Make it done fast. Make it emotionally, appealing. And here's this kooky, crazy concept with a couple weeks to work on it. It's like, okay, well, you're not going to get anything good. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it's never smart to blame the artist. It's about the people making the decisions. That's where this is coming from. They're the ones directing the movie.
Yeah,
People
truly.
literally behind, like, working from home, behind their emails from their mansions, going, actually, let's stick in the Nick Cage. My son told me about an article.
Yeah, I saw an article about that.
Like,
That's dude.
little
you
Billy
don't know
thought that
how
was quite
true
a
that
hoot.
is,
Yeah.
Nick.
That's what
You
it
don't know how
reads as
true that
on
is.
screen. It's like
Dude, and-
somebody was like, "Oh, put that in there."
Well, and then you get this whole like the
Seriously.
layers of corporatism where like nobody wants to take any risks because the entire infrastructure and motivational structure of a corporation is like to avert risks. And so anybody who takes a risk is like really putting their neck out. And so you can never
like the
get
Soviet
somebody who's
Union.
in the middle of the chain somewhere to be like, oh yeah, let's take this risk. It never
Yeah.
happens. It like never happens.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even
It's
let
shame
us
it's-
touch guns in Punch for Punch because they
Which
were
was-
worried about like
For
It's like-
Extraction 2, by the
for
way.
Extraction 2.
Which is
Heavy
very
gunplay.
gun reliant. Let's just say
Yes.
that.
Like literally the entire movie is a like extraction agent
Hey, do you
with
guys want to make a
multiple
huge marketing
firearms,
piece for our movie that's about a
shooting
guy
bad guys.
who
Yeah.
shoots
It
It would
bad
be
guys?
like doing
but
a John
yeah.
Wick scene, a
Yeah.
John Wick take without
Yeah.
having a firearm in it.
Yeah. Do
because-
one for Creed, but don't do fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no punching.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm thinking it's more like a chess thing, maybe. like,
maybe just like montages,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know, or
Just
like
people
the
are really
relationship
negative
he
on
has
punching
with
right
Rocky
now.
Balboa.
People really don't like punching right now.
Yeah, people are just really. There's been a
The
lot of
polls
punching.
are in.
Yeah,
We just want to
Yeah.
avoid the backlash on X. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just
God.
fascinated by the fact that
Yes.
again, like being a very, very corporate film in all aspects, it was designed above all else to reset everything. It's like, okay, we made a big mess in a lot of different areas, clean slate, let's try again. And on the try again, it was their biggest flop. So where do you go from there? Like
No,
what
I-
follows that?
There's really no. I don't know that there's any recovering. Like I think like what James Gunn's plan is to start out with a lot of the Suicide Squad style projects where it's like one of them is called Creature Commandos, and you're like, who the hell are they? Good,
Heck
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like it's out there, it's its own thing, and he'll do his Superman movie, but that's not gonna come out for like probably another 3 or 4 years.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage will be reprising the role. Well, not
I'm hoping
reprising
for
because
it.
he never did it. In
Maybe
the first
this was
place.
just a teaser.
Yeah.
Maybe that's.
Well, he
maybe
didn't even do
it
this
was
one.
without any
The
merit.
question,
the
the question everyone wants to know is there any hope after all? That's really what this whole podcast comes down to, and I need to hear it from you.
For superhero movies.
Well, I'll hold out hope for James Gunn because I think Warner Brothers is like an absolute dumpster fire right now. And I mean, they got bought by Discovery, right? And Discovery's already trying to get rid of them.
Oh, whoa.
They're like bleeding money and they keep
So
they keep
sad,
doing this
man.
thing where
It's
they're
so
like
sad that that's
They're
what
like
like one of the
Discovery
most
Channel.
staple like production
Dude.
companies of all of Hollywood is now just a bleeding ulcer that everyone's passing around.
But luckily they just was Barbie Warner Brothers? I think Barbie was Warner Brothers.
Discovery
that'll help.
closes.
No, actually
Discovery closes acquisition of AT&T's Warner Media.
Yeah.
Dang, man,
like,
wrapped in a
it's
wrapper.
like,
Yeah.
what is that, dude?
Warner Media.
What is that? What does that even mean? Oh my
But so they
God.
just had the Barbie movie, which did really well.
That'll
so
pat it.
They'll like limp along.
Well,
for a
now
little
you
bit.
know what's gonna happen with Barbie now.
Multiverse.
Woo,
baby.
Did you
G.I.
see?
Joe!
Did you see they hit up Mattel and they're like, Mattel, what do you got?
Yeah. Yo, Legos. Let's get some Legos and Bionicles
Yo,
in there.
Mattel,
Let's
it's
get
how you
some freaking.
feel.
No, but so
Who
check
else,
out
dude? Some
here's
trucks? Truck
let's-
toys?
Let's
Is that
wrap this out on the Mattel cinematic universe we got coming. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got Hot
Wheels.
Hot
All
Wheels.
day we got Hot Wheels for
So
sure.
what's the story? There's no story.
Dude,
It's Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
it's Hot
okay?
Wheels cars
Yo,
meets, whatever. They'll eat
Freaking
it.
alphabet blocks. Do you remember those? That would be sick. Like
from-
Alphabet Block, the movie.
Oh,
Like the wood blocks that you stack up.
But
I think Chris Pratt.
check
I'm
it out.
thinking Chris Pratt.
But here's
Maybe Nick
Alphabet
Cage would
Block.
be good.
Here's
Yeah.
another Mattel.
He could be the B.
Nick
Here's
Cage
another
can play the
Mattel.
Yeah.
wacky letter X.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll be the X. Yeah. Oh, freaking Anna Taylor-Joy would play a great J. I think she'd make a great
yeah.
J.
Here we
Oh,
go.
look at this.
Yeah.
We
Wait,
got him on the
My
the thing.
favorite is they have hungry hippos.
Oh, perfect.
We're gonna see the
Wait,
hungry hippo.
How hungry
movies.
are they though? That's
So
what I
actually,
wanna know.
Christian, some of these brands they don't own; they just make toys for.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Are
I
we
was like,
gonna
they
get
own
a
Disney?
biopic about the founder of Mattel, also starring Ben Affleck?
Oh, that'd be
Well,
sick.
Are we gonna get that?
And it's gonna be-
We always want to know who Mattel was. Who was he?
Mattel is your story.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually I don't know. The new frontier of cinema, as superhero movies die, is movies about products.
I know.
Have you
it's
noticed
so
this?
bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Baby
It's
Yoda,
like-
honestly.
Every
such a
not
cesspool.
superhero movie now is like about. It's like BlackBerry, Tetris, flaming hot
Yes.
Cheetos. They made a
Flamin'
fucking
Hot,
flaming
they
hot
did.
Cheetos movie.
No.
Bro, the Nike movie was
Yeah.
so fucking bad.
Wait, you
dude.
watched it? I watched the trailer
Yeah.
and I passed.
It's oh god.
I
I'm
watched
not gonna get
Tetris
started. I'm not gonna
instead.
get started.
That
That's
was
a whole
directed
nother
by
pod.
Batman.
Yeah, I know it was.
Ben
I can freaking tell when he directs a movie with himself in it and all his friends. I
Wait,
know.
he's in Flamin' Hot?
No. No, the Nike movie.
It's not
Flamin'
actually
Hot,
called Flamin' Hot. is it?
Yes.
Yes, it's called Flamin' Hot. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I
You
can't
guys
wait for
aren't
the
tr-
scene where he
It's a
dips in
Disney
it.
Plus original, Jake.
Hulu, I thought.
You're not
Oh.
trolling me right now.
Cinema is strong right now.
Yeah.
We have Flamin'
Dude,
Hot.
the scene where he first tastes it is gonna be off the charts.
I watched the
dude.
trailer because I love Flamin' Hots
Also-
are my favorite
yeah,
thing in the world.
yeah.
And I watched the trailer because I was like, oh, I want to know how they did that. And immediately I was like, this is not true. This is so extreme.
Wait,
Like,
do you know
there's
the
no way.
story?
It was a
I don't
janitor
care.
at Cheeto-Lay, Frito-Lay, whatever.
That
it's
guy-
called.
Gives a shit.
This guy,
Do you
this
know
guy
the
who
story?
invented Flaming Hot Cheetos, or allegedly, because he made it up.
Oh,
There
he was
an-
a janitor who
Yeah, he was
went
a
home and
janitor.
added spice, and then the CEO, I don't know.
Dude, that's
and now
like
they have
every
it.
okay. My wife is Mexican. She adds hot sauce to everything. Okay, this isn't some exceptional thing. It's like they add hot sauce to everything.
No,
And
and
this
the
guy
guy
just happened to work at a chip company, all right?
There was a whole.
If every Mexican worked at a chip company, there would be amazing snacks
dude.
everywhere.
The Frito-Lay
They
cinematic
put hot
universe.
sauce on something.
No,
But the
look,
guy,
I
there
don't
was an
know the
LA
story.
Times expose, and the guy made up the whole story. And this has been like in the
No.
lore for like 20 years
I
that this guy
believe
invented
that.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Gosh.
God.
Well, yeah, we've got the Nintendo Cinematic Universe on the way after the success of
now they're just
the Mario
laughing at
movie.
us. Oh
We've got
my
the
God.
Frito-Lay Cinematic Universe
Jesus.
Wow.
after the success of Flamin' Hot. And then you're going to have a Flamin' Hot Wheels merger. You're going to start having those universes collide. And the Flash will come true, man.
That's like
the Flash will come true.
dystopian future that he talks about in Fight Club, where he says in the future all the galaxies will be owned by corporations.
We're headed there, man.
No.
Truth is stranger than fiction, Jake.
Dude, Ziploc stock and Two Smoking Barrels about the guy who invented plastic bags. He had to go up against the
Ziploc stock.
the big brown bag mafia was out to get
my
him.
God.
It's a really gritty story, and we're gonna get Cillian Murphy to play the bag, the first bag.
Yeah, the first bag.
Yeah.
We have to take it back, guys.
It's
We
gonna
have
be
to take it
motion
back.
capture.
Yeah.
It's getting out of control.
Is there? Can we end this podcast on a positive note? I don't want
Yeah,
to leave
Dean.
people with this negativity.
Dean, where are we
Please,
headed, man?
anything.
Somewhere bright. Point us in the bright direction.
Well, I think Spider-Verse, I think there's this like amazing renaissance in animation that is happening and is coming. And I think for superheroes, animation is the best medium to present these characters. Like we've seen that with Spider-Verse. Because like, anime, like people love anime, and anime is just like an adaptation of comic books, mangas. And I think in the same vein in the US, I think we're going to have I think where all these superheroes should go, they should get out of theaters. Well, get out of like, these big Hollywood studio movies and be animated and have like artists, have love and care for these characters. And
and maybe one day
Maybe.
a Bollywood director will cross the sea
Oh, I hope.
and
happens.
take the reins of a Hollywood
On the
feature and blow
Frito-Lay.
everyone's
Dude,
mind.
let's trade, dude. I'll go over to Bollywood. They're having fun over there.
They're having
Dude,
fun.
They are not having.
Well, it's just a reminder.
RRR.
It's just a reminder. You can vote with your dollars. That's the beautiful thing. We have the final say. And Dean, maybe the lesson here is don't go to the premiere. Maybe the lesson here is
Don't be a
hang
number.
back, get a lay of the land, and decide: are these the people you want to give your money to? Did they respect the IP that you love, and do they deserve that hard-earned dosh?
because the Cheetos movie is
Gosh.
coming out soon.
Mm.
So,
it's already out.
oh my
It's on
god,
Disney Plus, man.
Yeah, baby.
Wait,
It's on this.
Well, what are we
streaming-
doing,
Hulu, I
guys?
knew it. Yes.
Let's
there's
stop
a
this
Cheetos
podcast and
movie
go
too.
Freaking get Flamin' Hot.
Oh,
Flamin' Hot. That's Flamin'
Okay,
Hot. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's,
Yeah,
but it's all
cheese
part of
and-
the cinematic
Oh, well,
universe.
is it
mild.
gonna? When are they gonna tie in Flamin' Hot with lemon though?
That's gonna be.
They do
That's the
the
multiverse. Yeah, that's the.
They do
Gosh.
the Cheeto Puffs.
Mm.
Yeah. When are they gonna tie in Puffs? Okay. All right, guys.
You're just
That's
gonna have to
enough.
wait for next
That's
quarter,
enough for
Jake.
me. I can't handle any more of this. This is.
This
Oh,
was.
man.
Neither can
Sorry
But-
for the
but, okay.
ranting, everyone.
Yeah. Let me just
I need
ask
to
this
do
last
some
question.
contemplative. I
Yeah.
need to take some contemplative time after this.
And I just
really
want to ask one
consider how
one
we
last
got
question here. Dean, do you feel better getting that off your chest?
Oh, absolutely. I've explained the entire plot of this movie 4 different times.
Mm,
It takes like 20, 25 minutes.
Mm.
yeah.
And each time a little bit of that trauma is relinquished
Yeah.
from my body.
So maybe the only thing to do now, everyone who's still listening, is to drop some bless yous in the comments
Yeah.
for Dean and his soul. Give him some peace.
Yeah,
Just
leave
give them
some
a reason
Fs.
to keep going.
Give him some
tomorrow.
bless
in the
yous.
comments.
Bless
Tomorrow's
yous in
gonna
the
be tough.
chat.
Dude,
Bless you,
F's
boy.
and some bless you.
F's in chat for original films. All right.
Yeah. F for
Thanks for
Flash.
watching, everybody. We're gonna
Flash.
stop it here. This is chaos.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
All right, gang.
Thanks for hearing
Thanks
us
for listening
rant
to
and
my-
We feel
scream.
better.
My ramblings.
Oh,
Listen, we're
Oh,
gonna keep
yeah.
at it. Okay, we're gonna keep at it. We're gonna keep trying, and
Don't give up.
That's all we can do. We're just gonna keep making things.
Keep running.
keep
Mhm.
running. Don't stop running.
All right. See you
Ezra's
later.
gonna get you.